Hello, friends. To dive into today's topic, I want to begin with a story. In a quiet village nestled among gentle rolling hills, two boys, 7-year-old Eli and 11-year-old Tom, were the best of friends. They spent their days laughing, chasing each other fields of wildflowers, and inventing imaginative games only kids could dream up. One afternoon, while playing near an old moss-covered well on the edge of the village, Tom slipped and fell into the deep shaft. The sudden splash echoed sharply through the still air, as if time itself had frozen. Eli, small and wiry, peered into the darkness below, his heart pounding. Tom, barely keeping afloat, cried out for help. The village was too far, no one was around. Panicked but determined, Eli spotted an old bucket with a frayed rope left nearby. Without a second thought, he dropped it down and shouted, "Grab it, Tom!" Then, using every ounce of strength in his tiny frame, he began to pull. Inch by inch, jaw clenched and muscles straining, Eli hauled Tom back up until his friends scrambled over the edge. Soaked, shaking, but safe, the two boys collapsed onto the grass, gasping for breath. Later, when the villagers heard the story, they were skeptical. A 7-year-old pulled an 11-year-old out of a deep well? Impossible. Whispers of disbelief spread like wildfire. But Reginald, the village elder, with a weathered face and eyes full of quiet wisdom, listened differently. He didn't ask, "How did Eli do it?" He asked, "Why was he able to do it?" That one question sliced through the fog of doubt. Reginald wasn't focused on the mechanics, but the mindset. His point was simple. Eli's strength didn't come from his body. It came from an unshakable belief that he had to save his friend. Eli didn't pause to calculate his age, his size, or the odds stacked against him. In that urgent moment, there was no voice telling him, "You're too small," or "You can't do this." With no external or internal doubt clouding his thinking, his mind was free. And that freedom unlocked a strength far beyond logic. The silence that followed Reginald's words was thick with understanding. This wasn't just a children's tale. It was a profound lesson on the human spirit. The story of Eli and Tom, though simple on the surface, echoes far beyond the borders of their village. It's a mirror reflecting truths about belief, mental strength, and the invisible barriers we build around ourselves. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with messages that define our limits. From a young age, we're told what we can and can't do. You're too young. You don't have enough experience. Let someone smarter, stronger, or more qualified handle it. Even when well-intentioned, these words seep into our identity. Over time, they turn into the inner voices of doubt that hold us back from our full potential. Eli's story challenges that conditioning. He didn't succeed because he was stronger or more talented than others. He succeeded because he wasn't weighed down by doubt. Without the mental handcuffs of "I can't," his mind and body worked in perfect harmony to accomplish what seemed impossible. This phenomenon isn't unique to Eli. It's a universal truth about human potential. Psychologists call it self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to succeed in a specific situation. When we believe we can, our brains align our focus, creativity, and resilience in powerful, often surprising ways. Eli's decisive action is a textbook example of that principle in its purest form. Now think about what that means in our everyday lives. How many times have we hesitated to try something hard, not because we lacked the ability, but because we had already decided it was beyond us? The voice of doubt is cunning. It dresses itself in logic and caution. It says, "Stay safe, avoid failure, don't take risks." But what if, like Eli, we silence that voice? What if we approach challenges with the clarity of a child who sees the goal, not the obstacles? Letting go of self-imposed limits doesn't guarantee success, but it opens the door to possibilities we may have overlooked. This idea finds powerful echoes in real-world stories. World-class athletes often describe moments when they forgot about the pain, exhaustion, or impossibility of what they were attempting. In 1954, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, a feat many experts believed was physically impossible. Yet once he did it, others quickly followed. It was as if his achievement rewrote the boundaries of what the human body could do. The real barrier wasn't muscle, it was mindset. Likewise, in moments of crisis, when a mother lifts a car to save her trapped child, or a soldier carries a wounded comrade across a battlefield, humans tap into strength that defies logic. These aren't rare exceptions. They are glimpses into what becomes possible when urgency silences doubt. In those moments, need overrides hesitation, and we act from a place deeper than thought. Eli's story also invites us to examine how outside voices shape our beliefs. The villagers' doubt reflected a very human tendency to project our own limitations onto others. When we say that's impossible, we're often voicing our own fears or insecurities. But in doing so, we risk becoming the very voice that tells someone else, "You can't." Children like Eli are especially vulnerable to this. A single careless remark can plant seeds of doubt that grow quietly over time, stifling potential before it has a chance to bloom. As adults, we carry a responsibility to nurture belief rather than crush it. To ask, why not, instead of how could you possibly? Reginald's wisdom lay in refusing to dismiss Eli's achievement. Instead, he looked for deeper meaning, understanding that belief often precedes ability. There's another layer to Eli's strength, what we might call the power of no other option. In that critical moment, Eli didn't weigh his choices or calculate the odds. He acted because there was no time to hesitate. Tom's life depended on him. This kind of urgency strips away the luxury of overthinking and forces us to meet the moment with pure, unfiltered resolve. That's why humans often do extraordinary things in emergencies, only to look back in disbelief at what they were capable of. This phenomenon suggests that our true potential may live just beyond the edge of our comfort zone, waiting to be unlocked by necessity or by unshakable belief. Practically speaking, we can train this mindset by reframing the way we approach challenges. Instead of asking, "Can I really do this?" we might ask, "What's stopping me from trying?" By shifting the focus from perceived limitations to the task at hand, we create space for action. That doesn't mean ignoring reality. Eli still needed a bucket and a rope, but it means refusing to let fear or doubt dictate the first move. Over time, this habit builds resilience and teaches us to trust in our own ability to adapt and overcome. The story also highlights the vital link between belief and action. Eli's belief that he could save Tom wasn't passive, it was fuel for action. Belief alone isn't enough, it has to be paired with effort. In modern life, we often fall into the trap of waiting for confidence before we act. But confidence is rarely the starting point, it's the result of doing. Each step we take, no matter how small, reinforces our belief in what's possible and creates a positive feedback loop. Eli didn't know he could pull Tom up until he started pulling, and with every tug on that rope, his belief grew stronger. Another profound lesson lies in the stories we tell ourselves. The villagers' doubt didn't change what Eli had done, but it could have shaped who he became. If Eli internalized their skepticism, he might begin to doubt himself, slowly shrinking his sense of possibility. This reminds us how important it is to be selective about the narratives we accept. Every time we say, "I'm just not good at that," or "I'll never be able to do that," we build a cage around our own potential. But when we choose to believe in our capacity to grow, we lay the foundation for transformation. Reginald understood that the real question wasn't whether Eli's feat was possible, it was why Eli believed it was possible. Ultimately, the story of Eli and Tom is a call to action. It challenges us to question the limits we've accepted, to confront the voices, inside and outside, that tell us what we can't do. It reminds us that strength is not just physical, but deeply mental, born from the courage to act despite uncertainty. Most of all, it teaches us that what we believe about ourselves shapes who we become. If we believe we are capable, we'll find a way to become capable. If we believe we are limitless, we'll break through barriers others assumed were permanent. In a world that often defines us by our shortcomings, Eli's story stands as a beacon of hope. It whispers that within each of us is a reservoir of potential, waiting to be tapped. It urges us to become our own Reginald, to ask why not, in the face of doubt. And it dares us to live with the fearless clarity of a child who, in a moment of need, chose to act, not because he knew he would succeed, but because he refused to believe he couldn't. I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit the like button. It might seem like a small thing, but because of how the YouTube algorithm works, videos with more likes tend to get shown to more people. So your like really helps this video reach others who might need it too. And if you find my content valuable, consider subscribing. It really helps more people discover it. Thanks for watching, and I wish you and your family good health and peace. See you in the next video.